Hi, this is Rob with Longevity Learning Lab. We're going to show you the TIG welding part of the 250EX. Now I've already showed you the stick welding part of it and how to set up the machine, but we're going to go ahead and we'll set it up for the TIG stinger. And let me show you what it comes with first. You know, we've got a lot of good goodies that come with the package here. So let me see here. I've got, obviously, you saw this stick holder and then our ground. And then with the unit here, it comes with the regulator. Now the regulator, the flow meter on it is actually going to be the gauge here, the second gauge. And it's for the CO2 and the argon. Just like a flow meter, same principle, but it's just a gauge here. And then you got your regular pressure gauge. Nice unit. Now, being a 110 and a 220 with the inverter, it also comes with an adapter for it. And then with our foot pedal and our stinger, I like the plug setup. The plug setup's nice, heavy-duty plug setup, and it's actually pretty universal for other welders too. And the foot pedal in this case here doesn't have a little adjust knob on it for your amperage, but you can get it. You just got to tell Longevity what you want, because they've got a different styles. And this is a nice unit. The foot pedal, it gives you nice, good playback. You know, it's good control on it. Doesn't go too fast, doesn't go too slow. Now the stinger setup I like. Now on the stinger, it's got the swivel right here, really ergonomic. I like that. You know, there's nothing worse than grabbing a stinger and it's been beat up or whatever, and people, they wrap tape around it and it's all stiff and your arm gets tired after a while. This won't do that. I like that. And then even the neck on it, you can adjust it to get in those little hard to reach places. And then you can get the longer, I mean the shorter caps and stuff like that, really get in there. Now on the stinger also, you've got your control little knobs here. And in this case, you got your on-off button and your little roll button to adjust your amperage. But this will pop off, okay? And you can put another little switch in there in case you just want to have a slider switch. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. And it pops right off, but be careful, because when you put it back on, you got to make sure, because it's an integrated circuit there. Push it back in there and, you know, make sure it's plugged in, it's seated good, you know, because otherwise you're going to say, oh my God, the stinger is bad. But it's not. It's just make sure, be patient with it, and it'll work good for you. I'll show you how to set that up too. And then again too, with the plug, a nice heavy duty plug. And then it comes with a booklet, and the booklet really will help you. The booklet will tell you how to set up more of your parameters, give you other little tips and tricks on like grinding your tungsten and what your welds will look like. And you know, if you're a welder, you know what you're getting yourself into. And so let me go ahead and move this stuff off the tables, and we'll plug this in and hook up the gas, and we'll go from there. Okay, here's the front of the unit. Okay, it's basic welding machine. You got your gas. You got your lead hookups, you got your plug for your foot pedal or your stinger. In the back, you got your on-off switch, you got your gas, and your regular line for it. Can't go wrong there. So what we'll do, I got it plugged in already, but I'll go put the hose onto it, and we'll turn this on, and I'll show you. I'm going to set it up for the DC right now, and then the aluminum will come after that. It's got the pulse setting on it, the pulse wave, and then we'll show you how to set that up. And I'm not going to go too far into it because it's a little bit involved. It's in the book, and you should know what you're doing if you're buying the unit anyway. And but it's really easy. It's straightforward. So let me plug this in, get the gas going on, and I'll show you how the leads go on. And we're getting there. Okay, here's the back of the unit. And then obviously you got your line right here for your air, and you can put the Teflon tape on it. Now you also have the option, if you want to have a quick release set on it, and just tell Longevity what you want on the end of the unit, or you can just stay with the standard fitting like that. And then you put the Teflon tape on it, and then here's your on-off switch here, and then obviously your power cord. Straightforward back of the unit. So we'll turn that around, we get the front of the unit. Okay, let me move the camera around a little bit for you. And here's the front. Now, when we set it up like that, we got our leads, and I'm going to have it set up so I'm going to put the ground on our positive side. Just like that. Here's our ground, and I'll put that to the table after I get the other leads put on here. Then we're going to take our TIG stinger, and what I do first is just go ahead and I'll plug in the power cord first, the plug, just before the fact that it just gives me better access with my fingers to plug it in. And then you have to remember too, on the plug, on both sides, there's a little groove here. So when you put it in, you got to make sure you're in that groove and it's seated in. And don't force it, because it'll go in okay. And just screw it on in. You'll feel it when it goes in there. Make sure it's all plugged in. There we go. And then you just go ahead and you can do the same thing with the gas fitting on this side of the unit if you want to put the Teflon tape. And it's right here. I'll come back with the wrench here in a second. And yeah, this is a nice little unit. I like this. And so this will go right in here, and boom, we're all hooked up. Let me get my wrench. Make sure everything's nice and little snug. Just like that. Oop. There we go. And we'll turn our unit on. Am I plugged in? There we go. Now let me move this around and I'll get better shot of the panel. Okay, here's our panel. Now as you can see, we're still set up for the stick welder. Okay, so, and we're still on program number 1. So what we want to do now is we're going to set it up for the DC on the TIG. So we'll go ahead and we'll go to program 2. All right, and then switch this over to the TIG welder. See how it all lights up. Now we're going to be using more of the gauges, because with the stick welder you didn't need to. So we're on AC right now. So we're going to go to DC, negative. Okay, so we're good there. Now we're going to still be on the 2T, and that's just going to be for your stinger control, not your foot pedal. Your foot pedal is going to be down here at the 4T. And then we're on high frequency right now, so that means you're just going to get as close to the work as you can, then it'll automatically start up for you. Whereas the other one will be like the lift, and that's like a scratch. And we're not going to deal with that. Okay, so now we're on the AC, we're on the DC, and we're at 152, which is kind of hot. So we're going to turn that down for what I'm going to be welding. We're going to go down to 50. All the way down there. And then when you get down there, we'll go ahead and the button, the center knob, we're going to push it, and then that'll set it for our program up here for program 2. And it'll start blinking. Okay. Don't have to worry about that yet. So now we're on program 2, and just hit it again, and it'll always stay at 50 when you go to that program. We don't have to worry about our wave, because that's for the AC control. And then the same thing with the pulse is off. We don't have to worry about that. And so let's go ahead and we'll set up the stinger. And what I like to do when I'm doing steel on the stinger, I'll use the regular, the thoriated, or I'll use the serrated. So we're set up for the DC now, and I'll go ahead and I'll ground my table out, and I'll run a bead on the DC for you. Okay, now we're going to set up the stinger for the DC, and when you get the stinger, it already comes assembled here from the box, but they give you another little packet of the cup and the collet body and the collet housing, or the collet holder. So go ahead and we'll set this up. So this is our collet body and our collet for the tungsten. Just screw that right on in there. Finger tight, You don't got to put a wrench on it or nothing like that. Big old gorilla arms, kind of put it on there and you break stuff. You got that on there with your collet inside. And this is an 1/8 of an inch tungsten I'm going to be using for the fact that when you do aluminum, you want a thicker tungsten, because otherwise you're going to blow your tungsten away, because aluminum likes to go a little hotter. So we got that in there. And then I'm going to use our serrated tungsten. And when you grind your tungsten, you want to go ahead, the wheel's going this direction, you want to go up so there's no burr on your tip and everything comes this direction with it. It just makes for a nicer arc. And then we put our cap on there. And this is ready to go here now. And generally they're saying about the length of the stick out on your tungsten is no more than the width of your cup. But if you have to go into some smaller, hard to reach place, you got to extend your tungsten a little bit. So when you do that, make sure you turn your gas up a little bit more on your flow meter. And I like to go between 20 and 30 on that flow. And then the size of the cup too, it depends on where you got to get in there, and you got to have that coverage. Okay, so this is set up. My machine's set up. Let me run a little bead here, and we'll see how this runs. Keep our fingers crossed here. Nah, it would be okay. Okay, I got my gas hooked up. Let's see how this runs. Nice and easy. I could have gone a little hotter. And it seems to run okay. You want to keep that nice good coloration, the blue and gold color. Let's see what that looks like. A little hot, but it'll flow okay. Do a little bit more. Let me turn it up just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I'm using a rod that's a little thick, but for our purposes, it's okay. But we know it runs. And let me take this lens off. You can see it's still a little hot. Maybe my gas could be turned up a little bit. Let's change this out a little bit here. Turn this up. Sometimes a little button on the stinger's nice. I don't profess to be the best welder in the world. But there you go. And that's the DC. Okay, let's get set up for the AC. Okay, here's our AC setting. Right there. Can you see it? There we go. Now, what we want to do, now we've got our first program here on number 2. So, we're going to go ahead, go to number 3. Okay, so you're on 3. Then we're going to stay here with the TIG. We're going to stay here with the 2T. And then we're going to stay right here with the high frequency. And we're going to go to the AC. And we're going to leave it on the wave. It's just your basic wave here, okay? And we're going to leave the pulse off at this time. And then so we can go ahead and set our amperage. Get our cursor here. Okay, that's our gas flow, 5 seconds. Okay, now we're going to go to our amperage. Our amperage we got to turn up for the aluminum. So I'm going to go up about 135, 140. That'll give me a good hot arc. Okay, and then we press it for our amperage and hold it. Okay, that's our amps. And set on 3. Now, what we want to do is set our cleaning. Now, our cleaning, you can go from, what was it? It's 0 to 30. And we're set it up about 28. Yeah, we'll set it at 30. It's good to stay at 30 and 30 all the way across the board. And that'll stay there. Okay. Then we're going to go to our high frequency, and that can go up for your hertz. So standard machine it's 60 hertz, but you can go up to 200 on this thing. And that's our hertz there at 75. We'll go up about, yeah, 85 is good for what we're doing today. And then that's that, and you're good to go. And it'll follow your chart all the way through here for your upslope and your downslope when you're on the pulse. When the pulse is off right now. And but there's more information in the book that'll help you dial it in a little bit better. And so let me grab some aluminum and we'll weld this up. Okay, here's our little piece of aluminum here, just a little scrap. Now what you got to remember with the aluminum, you got to keep that real clean. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to weld it here now without our little lens on there, so you can just hear it and you can see it, how the difference is from the DC. And you hold your gas there, and then there's your first bead. And then it's nice and clean. You can come back with your wire brush on it. And let's do it one more time. And hold it there. And you got to remember too, as the material gets warmer, your aluminum will want to go ahead and go deeper penetration. Sometimes you can lose control, so you got to watch your heat. So let me throw the little lens on there and we'll see what it looks like in real life. Okay, here we go. Let's try it this way. See how I start to lead it off right at the beginning of the puddle? And see, I'm getting a little too hot, so then I just control my amperage down a little bit. Let's try this. And then I'm going to turn on the pulse and just see what this looks like. I got to set my parameter just a little bit more, a little hotter. That runs okay. I just got to dial it in a little bit more, but you'll have to also. See, so now we've got that little problem with the pulse. I got to turn it up a little bit and dial that part of it in. So the pulse is on. So it's set at 141 amps. So I'm going to go a little hotter with that, because with the pulse you lose some of the heat. So I'm going to go up higher. I'll go up to 175. And then that'll be set there. Then we're going to come back with our cleaning. We're going to go up the opposite direction. Okay, we're going to go almost zeroed out. I'll go up to about 15. And then Over here for a high frequency, that'll be our pulse setting, and that'll go down. I'll go the hertz, I'll go up higher with the hertz. So it's more of a cleaning and a little bit better penetration. You can focus the arc. So I'll go 130 and we'll set that. And then we'll see how that works. Okay, now let's try it with the pulse. And it's like that. A little hot on the second pass, but it's okay. Let's try this one here. Well, there's your aluminum, and watch out, that's hot. And it just takes a little bit of practice on the pulse. I need to work on it myself a little bit. Kind of old school. I got to get used to the stinger control. I'm a foot pedal man myself, and That's our Tigweld 250EX, and it's a really nice unit. And I'm Rob with Longevity Learning Lab, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.